What's up, guys, and welcome back to Let's Play EarthBound. Last time, we stopped the insane cult group, the Happy Happyism, which painted the town blue and was threatening to sacrifice our now partner Paula, and we took down the leader, Mr. Carpainter, who was under the control of a golden statue that Liar Exaggerate found earlier on in this story. And he gave us the key to free Paula, and now Paula is our teammate, and the town has returned back to its nice shade of normalness. And I should have pointed this out, it takes you leaving the area and coming back in for the palette to change, which is why the cow was still blue and the sheets were still blue. There is no blue sheets in there at this point in time. And there's one more thing I want to show off. Pay attention to the text that comes up when you go to this house. Oh, hi, ho! Very interesting text. It'll come into play later on in the game, but I just wanted to show that off. I should have talked to some of these NPCs before taking down Mr. Carpainter, but at the beginning of this Let's Play, I said I wasn't going to talk to all the NPCs, so there's that. But I did suggest you talk to them because there's some interesting and funny things that they can say. This woman doesn't really apologize to you, but she says she has the chance to apologize to you. So that's kind of a dick move on her part. I got Paula up to level 8. So she learned PSI Thunder Alpha, which is kind of like PSI Thunder Beta, except for one attack. The higher the level of Thunder, the more chances you get at the target, because PSI Thunder has a very low accuracy. And she also learned PSI Shield Alpha, which is fantastic. So now we're going to head into this next area, which is where our next Your Sanctuary will be. And wow, usually when I come in here, there's a mole. But here we have our first enemy. I just said its name pretty much. We have the Mole Playing Rough. Mole Playing Rough isn't too bad of an enemy, but you definitely want to have Paula defend through most of the areas in here. And it just made itself feel strange. That is one of the things that a lot of the two of the enemies in here can do. They will make themselves feel strange by sizing up the situation. So they have a chance to hurt themselves. Or just hurt Paula. And I'm having Paula just defend because I don't want her to go down, because she is still a low level. And apparently, moles love pretty blonde girls because he just went straight after Paula. And that's pretty much how all the enemies in here are going to be. They're pretty much going to go after the weakest enemy, which they're not programmed to do. That's just the way luck is. And as you can see, there's bones and skulls all over this place. It is not a very nice place to be, apparently. I'm going to be cutting most of the battles out from this point on, unless we haven't seen them. Or if something else comes up, I'm going to have Paula eat this bread roll, so I don't have to use my PSI yet. And you could use it on Nest, too. You can use whatever you want on whatever partners you want, etc., but I'm going to use it on Paula. And here we have our second new enemy, which is a very interesting enemy. We have Mr. Batty. Mr. Batty can also size up the situation and make himself feel strange, and he can also be friendly towards you, making you solid for that turn, kind of like getting a hug from the hippie guy. And he can also use a fairly weak attack, but even fairly weak attacks on Paula are pretty dangerous. It's got a decent amount of speed, so it could very well just avoid all our attacks, but other than that, not too bad to take out, especially since it'll make himself feel strange a lot. And Paula's at level 9. Very nice. HP up by 3, PP up by 5. Alright, that's pretty good. Alright, here we have another mole. We'll just take it out real quick. One thing that I haven't pointed out, which I'm going to leave this in so I can point it out. If you use PSI Freeze on the enemies in here, all 3 of the enemies that are in here are fairly weak to freeze, so they're going to do a lot of damage. For example, 121 damage. PSI Freeze is a very good attack in this cave. And a general rule of thumb is that if they're an organic enemy... One second. If they're an organic enemy, like a bear, like an animal, they'll be weak to freeze, but not always. So don't go by that rule of thumb very much. But in here, all the enemies are fairly weak to PSI Freeze. And we have a Great Charm, which... to equip something, it has to be in the person you want it to be equipped on's inventory. So let's go ahead and give this to Paula. Now that we have a second teammate, we can give things to each other. And we'll go over and put the Great Charm on here. It'll raise her defense by 1, but also it raises her speed by 5, I believe. And here's our dad to tell us we've been playing for a while since I haven't officially saved, and he thinks we're still going. So, no. Alright, yeah. Save the world. Blah, blah, blah. Everyone's being is at stake, and there's an annoying situation up there. We'll just erase those enemies and come back up. Now there's just 2 bats. Alright, and there's one more enemy in here, which I am dreading taking on just because of how quite dangerous it is. And I don't really remember this area that well. It's these early areas that are kind of labyrinth-like that I don't really remember just because they're this early on in the game. And in this situation, I'm going to PSI Rocket and hope for the best while Paula defends. 9 damage to Ness. Pah, that's nothing. Though to Paula that'd be something just because of how weak she kind of is. And I'm gonna risk it all and attack with Paula. She didn't do jack though. She got a smash attack in one of the earlier battles, which she can also get smash attacks. So yeah, anyone with the bash command can get smash attacks. And we're up to level 10. Very nice. HP by 2. Come on. PP by 5. Still pretty good. Her PP will go up steadily by 5. A lot. Or more. She is, by all means, a psychic. And we got a croissant inside. Very nice. Let's see. Probably use that on Ness or Paula once we need to. Alright, so Ness is slowly... his HP is slowly whittling down. Okay, so I'm going to heal myself, but before we go to do that, Ness learned something new, which is a very interesting attack. PSI Flash. It generates a strong flash and can make the enemy start crying uncontrollably and in some circumstances feel strange. Also in the Super Smash Bros. Series, this is the only legitimate PSI move that Ness can learn from this game that this Ness can learn. That doesn't make any sense, but yeah. PSI Flash is the only move that Ness in Super Smash Bros. Can use that Ness can use in this game. There we go. That was a better way to explain it. Very interesting attack. And I'm going to heal up Ness with Life Up because he's got a lot more HP than Paula does. And I think I'm just going to use the croissant on Paula and heal her back up because she doesn't have as much HP as Ness does. So let's continue around this way, and I'm dreading the next enemy. They show up here at a very high rate. There it is. I don't want the Batty to show up, though. I wonder if I can erase the... Okay, we're going this way. Oh, come on. 2 moles? Are you kidding me? Can I erase them again? I just want the bear. Alright, so here we have just the bear. This could be the end of us, but we'll hope for the best. Sorry if there was a little stutter there. My screen went black instead of dimming. After a while, it goes black, and that actually does affect the recording. So if there's a stutter there, I apologize. Here we have the mighty bear, the most dangerous enemy in this cave. It has high attack. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a shield to protect Paula from those attacks, and I'm going to have her defend the first turn, which is probably not the best idea. Oh god, that's such a damaging attack. Alright, and now I'm going to heal her up because that sucked. And I'm going to have Paula use PSI Freeze Alpha on it since, like the rest of the enemies in here, it's going to be fairly weak to the freeze attack. 123, not bad, but it has such a high HP that it's not going to be doing too much. So, yeah, avoid these bears at all costs, much like you avoid the trees in Peaceful Rest Valley, just because they're such a dangerous threat to your team and you. And Paula leveled up to level 11. Very nice. HP by 4, PP by 5. Ooh, and she learned Freeze Beta, which is a stronger version of Freeze, which is very helpful for this cave, since, like I said many a times, they are weak to the... Oh, crap! You can get through here. Alright, well, let's take this on and hope for the best. Alright, so I'm going to put up another shield for Paula, and I'm just going to have her PSI Freeze Beta it. Should take it out in one shot, in all honesty. Yeah, look at that. So now we can one-shot the bears in here. and we'll get some of our PP back so we can heal up if we need to. We'll take the bear out, and Mr. Batty's gonna come in and help play with us. So, that sucks. I'm going to just rock in and have her freeze. This could be a bad idea. Oh crap, I used it on Mr. Batty and not the bear. I forgot to move the cursor. Oh, we just lost Paula. There's no doubt in my mind that she's going down to this attack. Or Ness could get very injured. Alright, so be very careful when there's multiple rows of enemies to scroll to the enemy that you want to use the attack on. And once you get to a part of this location, or a location in this cave, you can heal up using PSI because there's a magic butterfly that shows up very often. Sorry, I had to clear my throat there for a second. As you can tell, I'm starting to feel a little bit dry. I might need to get some water before this is over, and that's just deadliness. How's everyone doing? Not well. I'm gonna PSI real quick and life up everyone. Another 5 PP for Paula. I went and got some water during that battle, so now I feel better talking. Stupid mole. But once you get PSI freeze beta, you can level up very easily here. Because you can just one-shot the bears, no problem. So let's pick up this item real quick. What's it got in there? PSI caramel, not bad. It restores, I believe, some PP. Let's find out. Help. PSI caramel replenishes 20 PP, so it's basically like the butterfly, which we need to go find a butterfly. And nah, we'll be fine. So you definitely want to heal everyone up here just in case. I think we're good. Ha! Goods. We'll use a... What do we have? We'll use a skip sandwich on Paula. God, sorry for all the random, like, jitters and cuts and stuff. My throat has been just awful this morning. What am I using? Do I have a skip? Yeah. We'll use the skip sandwich on Paula. Oh, it only restores 6 HP. Well, that sucks. Alright, but look, we're fast. So whoever eats the sandwich in your party still has the effects. Let's go ahead and take on the next Your Sanctuary boss. I suggest you guys be healed up, but it's not necessary. So let's go ahead and talk to it. You finally got here. This is the second Your Sanctuary location, but it's mine now. Take it from me, if you dare. Again, my throat's being a bitch this morning, so here we have the Mondo Mole. Mondo Mole has a lot of attack power. It can put up a PSI shield, it can recover, it can raise its offense, etc, etc. And freeze doesn't do much damage to it. However, there is something you can do to make this a breeze, and that is use paralysis on it. Paralysis will render this thing utterly helpless, and I highly suggest, let's see, recover, just in case she goes down to this. I don't have anything for her, so let's just bash him. 1 HP. It's got decent defense, but it is now completely useless for the duration of this battle. So hit it with whatever you can. I'm gonna hit it with some rock-ins, and fire does more damage than freeze does to this thing, so use fire, but it still doesn't do a whole ton of damage. But yeah, that's the easy way to take out Mondo Mole. This is probably the easiest of the Your Sanctuary bosses, and we'll just go ahead and do that. It can still life up, but it can't attack us anymore, which is good. Though healing itself up is very annoying. I forgot that it could still do that. But yeah, pretty much just hammer the A button and you'll beat Mondo Mole, no problem. After you make him numb. Not much else to say here. Oh, I hate that he has life up. That is the only thing, is it could take quite a while, and he's gonna raise his offense too, but he won't be able to do anything else besides PSI attacks, which he has a finite amount of PSI, as does every enemy in the game. So it eventually does run out unless they have magnet and can get more back than they use. A lot of the times that's not the case, and I believe he's out of PSI, or he should be fairly soon. He's not healing himself anymore, which is excellent. Yeah, just hammer the A button and you'll be fine. And he's protected by a psychic shield, so there we go. And he's done. And yeah, that's a good level up for everyone. HP by 1, PP by 2. That is such shit. Ness gets shit on every time by these level ups. Okay, Paula got shit on this time too. Yeah, wow. Twice it only went up by 1. And there goes the second Your Sanctuary boss. And we now have access to the Lilliput steps, which are just steps from one tree to the other that kind of loop around. Ness briefly had a vision of a baby in a red cap. Ness's soundstone recorded the melody of the Lilliput steps. And we now have another free area to heal up. Every Your Sanctuary location is like that. And now I believe we can walk out of here without being attacked. Yeah, everything will run away from us. So, if you didn't pick up all the items in here, now's your chance to go pick up the rest of them, because these enemies will run away from you. And I'm going to go back to the Happy Town and call the episode there. But, yes, so 2 Your Sanctuaries down. And 6 to go, because we need all 8. And we're done with this location. I'm surprised we were done this fast. You can actually technically temporarily skip this Your Sanctuary location, I believe. There are a few Your Sanctuary locations in this game that you can temporarily skip. I say temporarily because you can't beat the game without all the Your Sanctuary locations, but you can temporarily skip some and come back to them, which is helpful in some situations, but others not. For example, there, I mean, we got a good life up, and we have a... It's kind of out of the way, so we don't really need to come out here, but we did need to level Paula up a little bit, so we got her up 2 levels with that, and we got Ness up a level, so it's good to take them down sometimes. A lot of the times you can't, and most of the time the story progresses in a way that you have to defeat them. For example, we wouldn't have been able to get to Tucson if we had not taken down the giant ant. But this one, I believe, don't quote me on it, but I believe you can temporarily skip this one. There's 2 in the game that are temporarily skippable, and a lot of people save them for the end because they forget about it or they don't know where it's at. But we'll get into that much later on. Let's check the status of everyone before I call the episode here. Offense 49, defense 36, not bad. Psychic points 52, not too great, especially since Paula's are 52 as well, and she's 5 levels lower than us, but she is a pure she is pretty much the psychic character. So there's that. HP's a little low for her. Defense is 36, which is the same as Ness's, which is so funny that she has such a high defense. And yeah, that's going to be it for me today. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you next time.